Hey everybody, it's Vallen from Mischief of Mice, here with a getting started video on the new mod by Emoniph, Intangible. Alright everybody, well when last we left off, it was a little bit more of an alpha version than we currently are in for Intangible, and there have been a few updates, a few additions, and a few simple things that I did not cover in the first couple episodes. So let me go over those real quick. First and foremost, and fairly simple, we've got blue crystal blocks and yellow crystal blocks. Now they may have some other uses, but for now at least you can just take 9 of the blue or yellow crystals in a crafting grid and create yourself a block, therefore saving yourself some space in chests. On top of that, we have some entry-level items. For instance, a couple of sticks and a soul bone. Let's see here. Put the soul bone in, and oops, I put it in the wrong spot. Let me put that in the proper spot here, and you stamp it, you get yourself some of these soul bone splinters here, and one of those plus a couple of sticks will make you a rod. And it's not too impressive of a weapon, I have to say. I mean, it's just +4, so that's the same as like a essentially the same as a wooden sword. So you can see here, nothing really fancy, but it does not take damage on the durability, at least not in its current state. Also, it is enchantable, so you could actually get it up to a decent damage if you end up putting a lot of sharpness on it. So this could be a fairly durable weapon that you could take with you. Plus, early on, I mean, you just need to make yourself a circuit stamper, and you're able to end up continuing with that. Now, with that aside, there is a little bit more as well. So let's see, I'm going to take these soulbone splinters, take a few of those, plus a piece of redstone, and make ourselves some of these, the soulbone conduits. Of course, these are not new, these are the same, but you take those, plus a blue gem, and once again, still not the same, but you will need a control circuit and a couple of soul bones, and you will get yourself the really cool new weapon, the Soulbone Spear, which has a +6 attack damage, and that's pretty darn good there. It's really handy. Also, it has a side effect of any enemies that will drop bones when you kill them will end up dropping soul bones. So this can be really handy to first early on get this in order to help increase your soul bone production. Also, on top of that, there's another way to get bones from creatures, or at least making creatures that will drop bones, and that is with zombies, which are the most proliferant creature in the Minecraft verse, in my opinion at least. Allow me to demonstrate here what this is. Now you put a zombie in here. Of course it had to be a baby zombie. Why does it have to be a baby zombie? Alright, well anyway, what I'm going to do here is feed a redstone pulse to this, and you will see that it will turn into nothing, because it's a baby zombie. So, we're going to let this guy out, finish him off quickly, and by the way, the Soulbone Spears are also enchantable as well, so you can get them up to just shy of a diamond sword. You know, well, they currently are almost shy of a diamond sword. But they also do have a nice benefit of when you are able to use the repair option, they are affected by that as well if you're holding the tool. So that's pretty cool. It will have a really funky animation, but I mean, that's possible it could change in the future. So let's see if I can get a normal zombie in here. There we go. Now, if you have the bellows here, as you can see, it will convert a zombie into a regular skeleton without a bow. So that gives you the option with your Soulbone Spear. If you notice, I have no soul bones in my inventory. In fact, I have no regular bones in my inventory either. But let him out, and you stab him if he doesn't get knocked back in. And if he drops any bones, which actually that one did not, then he will end up giving you soul bones. Let me try again here. There we go. And we'll lure him a little further away this time. He's running for the shade. There we go. And as you can see, there we go. I got myself a soul bone. So another way of quickly getting yourself some early on soul bones before you have yourself a trapped creature or a trapped soul so that you can throw the bone set in that manner. So there's a lot of ways that you can get soul bones for this. So on top of that, there is yet another small item, and that is if you have yellow crystals. I'm sure you're familiar with the blue armor that we had made earlier. It's just like that, except it's extremely, same as before with the terrible durability, great protection, but it also stops possession. So if you have a multiplayer server where people are possessing each other, and obviously that's a bit of a fight. It acts kind of weird. It's sort of like I'm trying to push you forward, and the person is trying to push backwards. Well, this will actually allow you to eliminate that. Of course, it also looks like I have some weird kind of chunky shower cap on my head right now, but that's besides the point. So, those are some of the more interesting things that I ended up either skipping or were in part of some of the updates. And now we're going to get into some of the more interesting parts of the mod. And that is leading up to and including creating yourself some Soulbone Armor, and so that we can get ourselves the ability to cast a lot of these square spells that we can't actually gain access to. But before we do that, we're going to end up having to discover one more soul. So in order to discover this next soul, we'll actually have to transmute one. And that means we take an undead one and we actually make it into a living one. So to start with, you'll need some of the benign stone, making a somewhat of a circle here. I believe I've got the image right there. There we go. And then we're also going to make a Corporeal Reconstructor, which I believe, I can show you the recipe here, is as such, with chiseled quartz blocks on either side of a soul infuser, an emitter, control circuit, and a bunch of soulbone conduits. Of course, the emitter is made with multiple control circuits, another blue crystal, and redstone in a crafting table. Then you place that on top of a redstone block, or just a block that's receiving a redstone signal, and you put a bone cage on top of that. And I actually recommend myself, rather than chasing around our prey, I recommend we end up doing this in the nether. But I will place this so you can see what it looks like. And that means that it's working, and it should function properly. So I actually recommend that you also place this down one block into the ground, because your quarry is going to need to be getting into that cage. So let's go into the nether and show you what I've got set up there. Alright, so if you're feeling especially cheeky, you could end up pushing a pigman through the portal, and try running through the portal at the same moment. It's really tricky, and sometimes the pigman won't actually make it through the portal because he'll end up just getting teleported to nothingness because it's not chunk loaded on the other side. It's really tricky to do. This is why I recommend you just do this in the nether, and therefore I have built another soul well in the nether too. Oh look, here comes our first volunteer. Alright, come on over here, you. Now of course they're neutral enemies, friendlies, I don't know, they're neutral to you, so they're not, well, not going to end up doing much. Now I do have some quartz slabs to help kind of him get up steps if he doesn't want to. Oh, he's being very cooperative now. Alright, cool. Come on over here. And you can push these guys around without taking any damage and so on, though you may get attacked by a ghast or something crazy like that. Let's see if we can actually convince you to get inside here. Just need to go a little bit further. You can always end up aggroing them and having them chase you up to this point, and that should help out considerably. In order to be able to do this, you're going to need to have some souls in the soul well. You see, it's actually making a noise there, and what it's trying to do is it's going to cycle through all the souls in it in search of a wise soul. So first, I need to have a wise soul, and let's see, I don't think this has anything on it. Nope, it doesn't. So therefore I can take all the souls I have on me, and I can deposit them back into the soul well here, and therefore give it the wise soul it needs. So we're sacrificing a wise soul in the end here, so that we can actually get a new soul. And there, I have no souls left in me. except for my own soul, of course. We had another Volunteer come on up here. I just put these blocks here so that he wouldn't wander away. But let's try to see about letting him out so that he can get locked back in. There we go. Alright, and he's in place. Now, there we go. You can see it's actually starting to take effect here, and what's happening is it's going through each one of these souls until it finds the right one, which is wise. We're going to be losing one of our souls that we gained from a villager or witch. And discover soul transfusion. And if you see here, we actually have ourselves a pigman. Oop, here we go. He's just a friendly pigman, like a regular villager. You can trade with him and so on. But I'm going to push him back in before he gets too far. So the advantage here is that you can actually still use this as you would a regular soul-ripping experience. So I'm going to just dig some of these out. Drop myself a few redstone chunks here. And as you can see, I've got some soul relays on either side here, powered by some redstone blocks. You can just use levers if you want. That's a lot cheaper to go. But just as before, we're going to put down a funnel, and then just 4 other items to start with. And then we're going to try and see if we can find out which combination it is. So once I do that, I'll be right back. And there we go. Discovery, Malleable Soul. And there goes our little pigman friend. You'll notice we're one less wise soul, and that's basically the idea. We had to transfuse it by putting it in there. Of course, we'll let him out, and he will slowly perish over time. Luckily, his damage does not convert to angering any pigmen. But now I can end up setting myself up to pick all these back up, and then head to the other side and deposit them in the other soul well. Be right back. And there we have all the new souls into my body again. Alright, well, this is essentially my method for transporting back and forth from the Nether to the overworld. Now, like I said, you could actually avoid having to build this setup and just build it for yourself on the overworld side, and just try and push pigmen through if you can, though I do find that especially challenging. So I do recommend that you end up using some method, probably like my own here. If you have another way of accomplishing that, then feel free to do so. But there we go. Get out of here. Alright. So, on to the next part. We have just learned ourselves, well, we have a new soul, plus we've learned about it in the in our knowledge gem here. You'll see souls. We've got types of souls. Now we have the malleable soul as well. So what do we do next? Well, we make ourselves some Soulbone Armor. This is going to be fun.